I am still running on pure adrenaline after that game, securing a top four spot. Let's talk about who stood out and a couple of special mentions. So it was actually really hard just to pick five players, and I wanted to keep it a little bit different because didn't want the same sort of five players that we're always sort of talking about. But it ended up being most of the same, just in different positions. But I do want to give a shout out to a couple of players. Now, Rowan Steele came on for Jeremy Howe probably a little bit earlier than we wanted him to. Well, not probably, definitely a little bit earlier than we wanted him to. But his ball use is immaculate, and his speed, that kick to Dan McStay with 5 minutes to go in the last quarter where he just hit Dan McStay lace out, that's something that Patrick Lipinski was doing earlier on in the season that he's not doing now. Rowan Steele, I think, deserves to keep his spot in the team for the first final. How incredible would that be? Mid-season draft pick, going on to playing his first final. I thought he did everything right. Would just love him to start on the ground. And I think Lipinski goes onto the bench if they still want to keep that run and gun, because we know Lipinski is a good runner. But I thought Rowan Steele did absolutely everything right. He obviously, look, he only had a couple of seven disposals, but seven disposals, seven pressure acts, 200 meters gained, and a goal assist. So I thought he did incredibly well. The back line really stood up. Darcy Moore had a handful of spoils, 9-1 percenters. Jeremy Howe, when he was down there, he was really conducting everyone, and that's what we missed when he went out. I thought Jeremy Howe down back, kind of like Will Parker last week, really let Dan Houston play his role a little bit more and better. But then with Jeremy Howe was out, Dan Houston had to come back and really play in tandem in the defense with Harry Perriman, who I thought had a good game as well. Bo McCreary, after that foot injury, I thought, here we go. We're going to be two players down. But to his credit, he came out after that, got a couple of jabs, and he was good to go. Over 200 meters gained. And what we missed with Bo these last few weeks is that not only that speed, but it's that perceived pressure. And he is one of the best to do it at the club. He had 15 pressure acts, 3 score launches, 2 goal assists, and, he did it with 60-something% time on ground. So he is going to be really special going forward into the final series when the pressure gets really, really hot. Hopefully his foot or ankle, whatever it sort of may be, comes up well. Another couple just quickly, Braden Maynard, Jack Crisp. Jack Crisp had 7 tackles, the most of a Collingwood player, 19 pressure acts, which is the second or third most of a Collingwood player as well. Kicked to goal, and he took that pretty much that match-saving mark right at the end when it got kicked to him. I thought Jack Crisp is just slowly going back into some really good form. There was a patch of 4 to 5, well, maybe about 4 weeks where he wasn't as good, and then he comes out against Adelaide, has an absolutely cracking game, and then backs it up again. And I thought Braden Maynard, especially in that last quarter, what I saw from Braden Maynard on Friday night, I think, and I love Nick so much, and I think he'll go down as the greatest Collingwood player of all time. I wouldn't say no to Braden Maynard being captain when Darcy Moore, hangs up the captaincy, or if next year they look for a new captain because Darcy Moore's done a 3 or 4 year term, whatever it may be. I wouldn't say no to Braden Maynard being captain of this absolutely great club, because he just looked like a captain last night with everything that he was doing and going up to the Melbourne players and, grabbing them up off the ground. He was acting like a real winner. And, I absolutely loved that. But the biggest guy I wanted to give a shout out to, who was number 6 in my top 5, he just missed out, was Billy Frampton. Now, you'll see his stats pop up. 6 intercept marks with 94% time on ground, 9 intercept possessions, 2 spoils, and 4 1 percenters. Now, Billy Frampton was pretty much our goalkeeper. He's been asked to stop a lot of big forwards this year. And then, coming back from a 6 or 7 week layoff, and then getting straight into that, the Hawthorn game and then the Adelaide game, and now this game, he's starting to find his feet again, and he is absolutely so important to this team. I know that's stupid to say because obviously he's so important to this team, but now with no Jeremy Howe, he's become even more important. I hope when we play the first final, if Howe's not there, I hope we do send some support down back, if that's McStay, if that's Charlie Dean, whoever it may be. But Billy Frampton has not put a foot wrong since coming back. Hawthorn game, he was a little bit, how's it going? Just because, how going down straight away really cooked us. And then it just really cooked everybody. But he's really grown into his own at the moment. Great game against Adelaide and an even better game here, really leading into a good finals series. All right, at number 5, I have Lockie Schultz. What's that book called? The Train That Could? Is that a book, or am I just making that up? With the train that just keeps going and going. I don't know. Maybe Mum read that to me when I was younger, or I'm just making it up, and it's a Mandela effect or something. But look at this: 2 goals, 3, so 5 scoring shots, 4 tackles, 6 score involvements, 18 pressure acts, which was second most for the Collingwood team, and 16 disposals. Lockie Schultz kicked one in the first quarter, but then that one in the last quarter, just to see his rise from where he was last season, where he had to shut off his Instagram comments, had to, he went into his shell a little bit, to come out this year and just have an incredible, incredible year, capping it off with a really, really, really good game. That's why he's 5th best. Works in tandem really well with Bo McCreary. Look at those, those pressure acts are just absolutely insane. And then, 2 goals, 3, everyone was sort of missing shots. He probably could have had 4 goals, 1 or 3 goals, 2. You would think he would have converted a couple more if the pressure wasn't so much, if you know what I mean. It was just piling on with every single player. But he came up really, really clutch. And so did, I forgot to mention him earlier, so did Dan McStay right at the end of that quarter. Came up absolutely clutch as well. So he's my number 5 player of the game. My 4th best player of the game is Darcy Cameron. Looks like a whole different man now that he's got his contract extension and isn't in 2 minds. We said this last week against the Crows as well. 2 intercept marks, a game-saving tackle right at the end, which is just mind-blowing. What a bloody tackle that was. Absolutely nuts. 26 hitouts, 450 plus meters gained, and 3 clearances. Darcy Cameron's presence, floating down back, and I've said it for the last couple of weeks. I would love to see him float up forward and take those marks, because you remember he was a goal kicking sort of ruckman when we were. It was pretty much when we were playing in tandem with Cox and Darcy Cameron, and we're not doing that anymore. But if Jeremy Howe was down back, I would have loved to have seen Cameron float down forward and take those big marks. But it wasn't to be. He takes some really good marks, that game-saving tackle. And he, like I said, he just looks like a man possessed now. And I reckon he'll finish top 3 in the Copeland again. So he's my 4th best player. Coming in at number 3, I've got Nick Dacos. So 27 disposals, 6 inside 50s. What I wanted to highlight with Nick was this: 12 contested possessions, still 450 meters gained, and 24 pressure acts. Obviously supporters say it every time. He doesn't get the hard ball, doesn't get this, doesn't get that. Pretty much, nearly half of his possessions were contested, but it was 24 pressure acts as well. He had a couple of tackles. Nick's work in and around the contest is second to none. Absolutely second to none. I think he does poll 1 or 2 Brownlow votes here. I want to say 2 just because I want him to win the Brownlow. But at least 1. Dawson didn't get any, I don't reckon, in that Kangaroos game. Noah Anderson, Matt Rowell on his tail. I think he's got 1 or 2 here. But Nick Dacos, all the team had a bit of a down patch, and Nick had that down patch as well. The maturity and the growth I've seen from Nick in the last 3 or 4 weeks, from going to give me the ball, I want the ball. And that's not in a selfish way, I'm going to try and win this game. I'm going to try and help him win this game. And he was just trying to do too much. From that to what I'm seeing here, he's, sacrificing his game almost to do these pressure acts, to do these contested, instead of just going out, getting the handballs and running around and all that sort of stuff, the 1-2s and stuff. I think he's just matured so much in the last month of football. Number 2, I've got the old-timer Scott Pendlebury. 21 disposals, 4 tackles, 6 intercepts, 90% disposal efficiency, and 2 intercept marks. In that last quarter, he went down back as the quarterback. I've called for this for, I feel like, years. I love him as that quarterback, and he's so smart, and we know that. Took the kickouts a lot. 8 disposals in that last quarter at 100% efficiency. Took a couple of marks as well. But just directing traffic. People will say, oh, Pendles is only signing on to beat the game's record, and he's not even that good anymore. He is like he's keeping up with these young kids and running, maybe not running rings around them physically, running rings around them mentally, because just what he can see in the football field from 20 years, 2 decades of football is absolutely absurd. And yesterday just showed that. But my number one player for this game, Jordan De Goey, he has gone absolutely beast mode. Like, Craig McRae said it best in his presser that he didn't think that Jordan De Goey would be at the stage that he is now. He thought he'd be subbing on or subbing off. 26 disposals, 6 clearances, 8 score involvements, 480 meters gained, 6 inside 50s. This guy was bursting through the packs like it was 2023 grand final. What I'm seeing now is that he is primed now. And we know that finals is a high pressure game. What better high pressure player than Jordan De Goey? I would have been a little bit shaky if Jordan De Goey in this last game, let's just say these last couple of games, especially in this Melbourne game, he had 12 disposals, 1 clearance, a tackle, 2 score involvements, and no inside. All like 120 meters gained. I would have been like, oh, he's played like 70% of game time. How is he, why is he like that? But no, he's just gone bang, 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 exceeding everyone's expectations, including his own coaches who train with him every single day. Jordan De Goey, I said it again, he's gone beast mode, and it's absolutely brilliant to see. So that's why he is my number one player of the game. But let me know yours down below. Who was your best afield? Until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.